We know this name well because it's the name we get called all the time. But it's also the name of an infamous HRE spammer. However, no HRE here. Instead, it's going to be the French. This is not really unskilled, right? This is clearly someone pretending to be really unskilled. This is the only possibility. It doesn't make sense to me otherwise, guys. Come on. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. All I know is he's going to be up against Puppy Paw. That's right. Poupon, the most skilled Canadian in Age of Empires 4. Uh-oh. That's going to trigger some people. I mean, in fairness, he was the first Canadian to qualify to Warlock. Right? I don't want to do certain other Canadians dirty, but he qualified when it was harder. Okay, I'm going to... I'm going to throw that one out into the lime pit and let it be harvested. But yes, Puppy Paw, man, he's going to be playing the Deli on Highview. It's actually fun how often I see this. I feel like Wham and Puppy Paw were two of the most frequent players of the Deli on Highview across this year. A lot of other people didn't even like look at it. They were kind of like, pointless. A lot of people got convinced Dry Arabia or Lipany were the way. But I feel like Highview was still some secret source for the Canadian bros. Let's see what we can do up against the French. French on Highview is kind of weird in that I think people are baited by how impactful they can be around this whole concept of like ambushing out the Stealth Forest. I actually don't think the French are that great on Highview. And I think it's because the gold vein placements. It's a lot harder to easily access gold. I think actually the French tend to fare better on very open maps with full vision. Just because the whole idea with the French Knights, you can argue with these Stealth Forests, I get a better opportunity to pinch. But I also get more opportunities to be pinched the other way. And I think actually a big part of French Knights and utilizing them well is intimidation factor. It's not about me outright killing this villager because I caught him off guard in the Stealth Forest. Ha ha! It's about, oh, I might kill your villager. I might dive in. So you need to be careful, right? I think that strain, that pressure that it puts on an opponent is more important. And the trade-off with these type of maps is like, you can talk about the gold veins and how, why are they hard to access, Pigeon? Look, there's free spawn behind him. Yeah, but they're spread out. They're spread out in a way next to Stealth Forest where he can get pinched by any number of civs, right? In a map like Dry Arabia, if I see someone running archers or spearmen at me, I have a very big warning. If someone runs knights at me as well, in this type of area, like on that type of map, scary. If someone runs spearmen, archers, or whatever at me on a map like Highview, unless I set up outposts everywhere, scary. And the reason that detail is so important is that the French want to play pocket ecos, but they don't want to pay admission. They're the person that jumps over the spin gate at your local subway. Sorry, underground train. I know that some players don't call it subway. And what I mean by that is that they want to go get these resources. They want to get the boar. They want to get the deer. They want to play out into these risky areas. But they don't want to build the outpost. They don't want to pay 100 wood here, there, and everywhere. Right? They try and budget it. And a map like Highview doesn't let you budget because of that vision being so lacking. And you know what Civ does like to build outposts? These lads right here. Puppy Paw, wouldn't be surprised if he goes for it because Sacred Site control is important and Outpost will enable it. It's someone I'd love to see really unskilled play towards. I just don't know if I'm going to expect it. One move that would really be cool to see out really unskilled is if he goes for a ball play onto the central Sacred Site with an Outpost drop. I think this will give him a lot of control, a lot of vision, and a lot of flow control. Because the cool thing about this map generation for someone playing towards ball is actually a lot of the routes that your opponent could use, you're going to kind of branch off through these Stealth Forests in the center. So if you get an outpost near here, you should see maybe 2/3 of the moves that your opponent is going to make. Dude, people taking bets on when Hera is going to come back to AoE 4. When AoE 5 gets announced. Nah, come on, guys. It's okay. What we are, right? I feel like we, as Age of Empires 4 fans, are just like... We're a little bit better. Not very, but because we've got good prize pools, we're a little bit better. We're more that type of person that refuses to die simply to spite someone else. Nah, I'm kidding. We're not like that. But we are going to have that feeling, right? When we survive and come out on the other side stronger than ever, we're just going to be looking and like middle fingering across everyone that doubted us in the room. We're like, oh, look at X person coming back. Nah, I'm kidding. You guys wouldn't be like that. I think actually like every community has slightly toxic elements, but I think there's a lot of good in the AoE 4 scene. Or maybe it's that we're too small to be extra toxic. I don't know. We'll find out. After the Gamescom announcement of 20 civs. Nah, I'm kidding. 20 civs, could you imagine? Anyway, let's focus on the 2 civs in this game. Tech ups, complete on each side. Really Unskilled going for a really delayed wheelbarrow here. Starting to live up to the name. I'm sorry, that was mean. But it is rough to watch. I never have really been a fan of these delayed wheelbarrow builds. I think there's just much more value in prepping a mill halfway through your Skull Cavalry and completing the tech up slightly after Feudal or at the beginning of Feudal. The argument against it is that you get a Knight a little bit quicker, but I mean, this Knight has done nothing. He pushed Poppy Paw away from the goal temporarily, and the Spearmen are already out. And you should know that Spearmen are going to be out on time, but like, you're up against the Delhi. There's no way you get Knights out quick enough. In the meantime, you'll at least have 2. And by the way, that's not to say, oh, well, you can't get Knights out quick enough. You're saying you shouldn't go to Matul KP? No, I'm saying you shouldn't sacrifice the benefits of Wheelbarrow early on to get 1 extra Knight out. So I think 2 Knights can still do the same amount of idle damage. 1 extra Knight, and it feels like what you're saying is I can actually do true damage. Instead of just idling him, I can kill villagers. But you can already see in these choke points, these Spearmen are going to hold you back. Ay. So Knight count up to 3. Really Unskilled has stopped, and I like this. This is what I was looking for, all right? Get to this count. Don't go beyond. Go into the stone. You now need to go into the TC. Much better approach here. Pop. In the meantime, what's he looking at? I think he's going to stop at 4 spears. I think he's going to realize as well that his opponent isn't going for more heavy cav. So he doesn't need to overinvest. Instead, he's going to go for the blacksmiths. I like this, trying to prep himself for the quality. I'm wondering when we're going to see a shift out towards the sacred site. So far, there's not even been an attempt to sneak out with Villager. This can be the tough part of being up against the French. Is just a few of these mad lads on horseback can actually block you out. I mean, this is what I was talking about, right? You don't need to heavy invest. You just need to get enough of them to stop your opponent from shifting out for these free gains. Because that's what the Daily are looking for. That's what PP wants, right? He wants to get onto these sacred sites. He wants to get the 150 gold tick. And he wants to begin to trickle his way up towards Castle Edge. Oh, really unskilled. Villies. How are we looking here? TC onto the deer. I like this. He secures 2 of the gold stacks as well. One thing I want to see him do, though, is set up an outpost. I think this is heavily underrated, is how often people just don't get an outpost in these type of areas. If you see P go into any sort of dynamic units such as horsemen, etc., you need to be worried about a flank attack coming in. So respect that, play towards that. Still do want to see really unskilled play towards this board, though. So underrated what you can do as the French in this situation. If you think about the momentum on the map, he had it until now. He could have had an outpost up already, and that could have blocked out his opponent. Second TC now coming out from one of our favorite Canadians. I like this, man. I think this is the way forward. I've talked about this before, but I actually think the next step in the Delhi innovation is going to be towards these town center plays. And it's a lot of value in this area that you're getting. You're getting deer, you're getting gold. I think this is actually someone that's kind of slept on a lot as well, is the value of deer for Delhi. They're always thinking about berries, but berries sometimes are just out of reach. They're a little bit too contested in terms of territorial placement. These deer stacks, with these type of spawns towards choke points, are a beneficial resource. And also, it's going to set them up for a lot of wood long term. Really unskilled. Now into the double archery range. So this should force the transition on the other side. So far, this is just a Delhi one-trick pony without ponies, right? It's just the spears. But what we should be seeing in the next minute is a transition into either the archery ranges or the stables. But more importantly, what needs to occur here is we need to see a movement out by PP into the mid-map. He's finally securing the back corner, so he'll get control of the sacred site. But after that, like, he needs to find a way to contest over the center. The cool thing, at least, about playing Delhi like this, and this is why I prefer it, is the old Delhi build was I get sacred site or I suck and lose game. New Delhi build with the TC is I get sacred site, my opponent, haha, you lose, right? Like, it's changed. It's now, instead of it being a I do or die by this, it's an added benefit. This is why this TC build is so important. It's just tough, I think, for a lot of people to find their way towards it with the Delhi because the Delhi don't get any other upside, right? You don't get extra wood gathering. You don't get an ability to trade beneficially towards resources. In fact, if anything, because of the way your Civ functions at this early point, there's more strain on your income because of the scholars, right? You have to pay this premium price to get access to researchers. And although you're going to get a lot of benefit from that down the line, in the meantime, it means you're sacrificing your timing. It's why Delhi, I think, is suffering a lot from the feudal age, to kind of like glaze over what we talked to Marine Lord before about. Like, the reason I think that this Civ suffers a lot, where every other Civ is feeling good about feudal, they're not right now, is because their feudal unlocks on a delay, right? It's a delayed fuse. It doesn't instantly start returning. And because every other Civ is now starting to optimize around these hard and fast feudal timings, it means the Delhi are 2-3 minutes behind where other Civs are at. Things have really slowed down for Really Unskilled, which is concerning to me. Like, he built these archers with the intent to do something, but he got locked out. And he hasn't prepped for siege engineering yet. He's got the blacksmiths, but he's being greedy. He's going for the undermesh first. Way too much time is being given here. And that time is going to be used well by Puppey. You can already see that he's gone up close to what he needs for Castle Age. He's going to get Sanctity unlocked, so he'll get access to Sacred Site Gold Trickle. And he is building a defense force, right? He's up to 15 already. My, oh my. And let's really kind of grill elements of what Really Unskilled has here. He has 5 of these heavy cavalry units that haven't really done anything, right? They harassed for maybe a minute. That is not worth 5 knights. That's worth 3, maybe 2. He didn't block the TC expansion. In fact, I don't think he even noticed the TC expansion, because remember that stone was being gathered on the backside and all of his attention was on north side on gold. I actually think Really Unskilled got baited in this game. Like, he was good to make his reaction in his own TC, but he shouldn't have allowed the Delhi one to go up for free. I think this comes down to maybe suboptimal scouting, which makes a lot of sense when you think about the fact that he was stationing on the north side the entire time. At the same time, though, maybe you shouldn't excuse him because he has got 2 scouts. I guess one thing to think about is, when did this wall go up? So that might have been another key issue, is if the wall went up really early, he was screwed there to begin with. But hey, I'd rather credit Puppey with a great understanding of this game than just kind of grill Really Unskilled for not doing enough. For sure, though, he's now not doing enough. Like, earlier on, I think this was him being kind of like craftily outplayed by the Delhi, but now it's him not really getting towards a win condition. This siege engineering is now only coming through, and it's queued behind Steeled Arrow. You're now a minute away from even building rams. Tech up completes. This has skewed his timings. I am really worried now that Unskilled is going to completely miss the mark. In fact, you can already see heavily armored units are being prepped. And this is scary now. Like, this is where the French can fall apart. Even if Really Unskilled finds the resources to actually catch up, you're in a gold-heavy matchup where actually your opponent's going to have a slight edge because he's going to have a passive trickle. He's going to be able to heal any units that get injured. And then on top of that, 5 minutes into this Castle Age, we're going to be looking at Honed Blades. Honed Blades that long-term is going to outdo Really Unskilled. Ay. Puppey Port will even reveal the first Lancer. This is where it gets a bit problematic for Really Unskilled, unless he can pick them apart like this. Whoopsie! All right, Puppey Port should be imprisoned for drunk riding there. In the meantime, though, is picking up a relic or 2. In fact, I think he can only get access to 1 for free. But he's at least starting to stockpile those troops. And I like that Puppey Port is just waiting. He's saying, okay, actually, Really Unskilled, you have to go. You have to force the mana. I don't have to do anything right now. I'm content to be in my base because I know that you either keep showing me forces, and it means you're not going castle, or you back off, I get mid-map, and you're rushing castle. At which stage, a lot of relics is going to go into the hands of the Delhi. I noticed a lot of chat coming out about my usage of words that you guys banned, but I guess all y'all need to count because it's been 5 minutes since you all banned those words. Checkmate. Whoop, whoop. I'll be the villain. The technically correct villain. I think I'm correct in saying that this is looking like desperation play now, Really Unskilled. He needs to be fast. I just don't know if he can be fast enough anymore. I mean, Puppey Port... Wait, where is Puppey Port's army? Oh my god, he stopped pushing spears. He stopped pushing spears or man-at-arms. I may have spoken too soon. Poppy Paw has a slight numbers issue. However, within those numbers, he does have quality. 8 Lancers, only 1 man at arms, though. Poppy Paw needs enough food to surge that military count fast. But right now, Really Unskilled is the one surging into his base. Moves in, looks onto the housing. Nice choice straight away. I love this detail by Really Unskilled. Wants to try and pop block him. Charge comes in the choke point. Lancers looking to hold. Spearmen are engaging, though. Lancers will have to back away. Remember, you need to kill off Poppy Paw's army, though. Otherwise, that's where the Scholars come into play. They're going to be able to heal off all the damage you've done, and that damage is negligible at this stage. Rush in. Breach past. In fact, if anything, Really Unskilled needs to sniff this out. He needs to realize that the food is being gathered on the west side, but he's too late to do so. Poppy Paw will get the wall up. TC will now be targeted down. Poppy, happy to let it go. Well, I say happy. He doesn't have a choice in the matter right now. We'll continue to escalate his heavily armored army, though. Meantime, one heavily armored unit is going to wrap around Really Unskilled. Sniffing it out, is going to see all the gold workers, the food workers on the backside. Now, if he just peels off a few knights, this is going to be danger territory for Poppy. In fact, this is all of his economy right now. If this disappears, he disappears. That's why Poppy Paw's now forcing a fight. Clash is in here. Really Unskilled, only 11 spearmen to work with. You think it'd be good enough, but the Scholars healing off the damage they're doing. I'm not sure it is. Lancer count now up to 12, and the Knight peel off. There's not enough here. Really Unskilled is about to show his underbelly. Archers have nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Knights have to recommit. They're going to be felled as well. Scholars are doing the business, and they're doing it well. With 40 extra health, Really Unskilled cannot even target them down. And his damage on these Lancers is 1 per shot per archer. It's not good enough. Despite his best efforts, Really Unskilled, it feels like he should have pulled all the Knights around onto the eco. The fact he didn't, the fact that he thought he could even for a second defend this Archer ball was his biggest mistake. Poppy Paw will survive, and Really Unskilled will run back into the forest from which he came. But he won't do so towards a kind of Sherwood moment where you're Robin Hood. Oh no, instead, you're about to get robbed in the hood here. Poppy Paw chasing in. Really Unskilled to lose the rest of the army, and after that, that means the Lancers are in position to dive directly into your base, and you still have no answer. And talking about raids that are from big winners, in time with that, Snooper coming through with a big raid. Love you, bro. Much love. But much love for Poppy Paw. Man, that was a good hold. That looked a little bit precarious at times, actually. You felt like maybe there was a way that Really Unskilled could do this, but damn, did he hold well. The patience is key here. Poppy didn't rush to try and end this. Because he held on the right amount of time, he's willing to kind of sacrifice the arm to save the body. Well, guess what? Sure, I'm 1 arm down, but I can get Bionic, bro. And when I do, I'm going to punch your face in, which is exactly what he said to Really Unskilled in this situation. Really good read on the game, and really good utilization of a different build for the Deli. Stop fixating and obsessing over these sacred sites. TC Boom is an option, and it's a damn good one. Sure, you're sacrificing your gold trickle, but keep in mind that the Deli is still a Civ that has double production available on the military buildings, so you make savings there. And then also, on top of that, this is a Civ that gets remarkable gathering rates on those berries, same as the Abbasids. And if you want to know how good those gathering rates are, think about the fact that the Abbasids is probably, I'd say, the best Civ in the game right now.